What's up, everybody? Hey, Tom Laird here, host of the Advice from a Call Center Geek podcast and founder of Expivia. For exceptional contact center outsourcing, trust Expivia. We're fully AI-driven, as all of you know, and can handle voice, email, chat, and all of your digital channels. Our 600-seat USA contact center is expert in healthcare, financial services, insurance, tech support, retail, and more. Experts on the NICE CX1 platform, we ensure seamless customer experiences. DM me or visit expiviausa.com for more.
This is Advice from a Call Center Geek, a weekly podcast with a focus on all things call center. We'll cover it all from call center operations, hiring, culture, technology, and education. We're here to give you actionable items to improve the quality of yours and your customers' experience. This is an evolving industry with creative minds and ambitious people like this guy. Not only is his passion call center operations, but he's our host. He's the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing Group and the Call Center Geek himself, Tom Laird.
Today on The Geek, we're going to talk about your call center communication culture. We're going to talk about some of the things that we're doing here at Expivia that I think have really, really evolved how we communicate, how we get information out to associates. We're using Slack at a pretty high level, and I get a lot of questions on how we're using it. We did have a podcast earlier that we kind of touched on some of this, but I want to dig deeper. So again, Thank you for joining us. My name is Tom Laird. I am the CEO of Expivia Interaction Marketing. Expivia is a 500-seat call center. We're an outsourcer located here in the States, so we're USA-based, located here in northwestern Pennsylvania. And welcome back, everybody. I want to thank, again, I've been thanking every episode, but it just how the growth of the podcast has evolved is really awesome. And it's not happening without all of you out there that are kind of starting to get the word out and starting to talk to your teams and your supervisors and your managers who are starting to listen a little bit. So I really appreciate that. We're over 6,000 downloads now in the 6 months since we've started. And we're getting more engagement, too, on our social media assets, which I really appreciate because, again, we've talked about this. We'd like to get this a two-way communication and not just, me preaching here. Before we get into today, let me ask you this as well, because I got to do this or I get yelled at by my staff. If you can please post your review, especially any of you guys that are listening on iTunes or Spotify, I would really appreciate it. We also did move the podcast home, the website home, to the Expivia site, and the only reason I did that, so it is now expiviausa.com/call Center Geek, and there's dashes between those words. The only reason I did that is selfishly we were getting a ton of traffic going to the Buzzsprout website, and again, I'm not trying to sell anything, but I kind of wanted that traffic coming to our website from an SEO standpoint to try to boost some other things. So again, it's a little selfish, but I think everybody can kind of understand. I just wanted to be kind of transparent on why we did that. But if you still go to the old website, the podcast.callcentergeek.com, it's going to just forward you to the new one, so you should be fine there as well. All right, I was on LinkedIn, and there is a LinkedIn member. Her name is Melissa Love, and she is the founder at Everybody Up. She doesn't know me at all. I don't know her at all. I saw this post that she had, and I thought it was really cool and wanted to kind of share it with everybody. And we've actually now used this, and this is not mine. This is Melissa's, so I don't want to take credit for it, but it's pretty cool. But we've used it now for our outbound teams. So we have some pretty customer-based outbound programs. So we don't cold call anybody, but we do have some social media campaigns that people have submitted forms and they're waiting for calls back, and we try to sell or give set appointments or some lead generation from that. So we've done this to motivate that team. It's about a team of about 50 reps. So there's about 3 teams of 50 on there that are kind of competing every day. And what she called this is it's called the Rock, Paper, Scissors Championship. And basically what happens is we've done this at the beginning of the shift. We've said, okay, everybody stand up and go walk to somebody that you really don't know or you really don't talk to that much. So they'll do that. And then they'll do a paper, rock, scissors. We did a best out of 3. And whoever loses becomes the fan of the person who won. And the person who won then goes and finds another person who won. Then they do paper, rock, scissors. And every time that somebody loses, they become the fan of the person who won. So they have to cheer loud for them. And at the end, When you only have 2 people left, you have half the room cheering for one, half the room cheering for the other. And it was a great way to get a lot of energy going early in the morning, maybe when they're not as motivated or not ready to go. So again, this is Melissa Love. Check her out on LinkedIn. She has a lot of other really cool things. I think her business is to actually motivate call center associates. So again, Melissa, thank you. Hopefully you're okay for me stealing that from you. But I thought that was really, really cool. So we've done that, and then we've done even like best out of 3, the whole room doing it best out of 3, and then kind of doing a paper, rock, scissors world championship, quote unquote, for that day or that week. So I don't know, kind of fun, something to kind of get your motivational juices going with your associates. All right, let's talk about the main topic today, which I think is kind of fun and kind of cool. I'm calling this episode, cut your agent some slack. And what we've done about 8 months ago is we got rid of all email in the call center. So obviously we still have external email, but when it comes to internal communication with the call center staff, with the managers, with the supervisors, with our EQA, which is our Expivia Quality Assurance, we're fully on Slack. And I will tell you, the really cool thing about Slack is for the very longest time, in fact, we've only started with the pay subscription to Slack about the last 2 months. So for the first 7 months, we use the free version, which I think for 99% of you out there, the free version is going to work fine. The only thing, you don't get all the functionality, but for the majority of everything, they give you a ton of functionality. I believe you only get 10,000 messages that it will hold till it rewrites over them. But guys, 10,000 messages is a ton. And it took us months and months and months and months and months to get to that point. And we're doing a lot of communication with it. So we are doing the paid version now. But I think take a look at even the free version for all of you call centers out there, no matter how big you are. And I think that you're going to find some huge values in it. And again, like I said, I had a couple more questions on how we have things set up. So I wanted to go deeper into how we set up our Slack channels, what we're using it for, and how we're using it. So there's kind of, and understand we are a BPO, right? We're a business process outsourcer. We're an outsourced call center. So customers are contracting us and paying us to handle, customer service on behalf of them for their customers. So we work with a lot of different clients. But this could be, you could say just different programs or different type of call type and substitute that for different types of clients. So I think that it'll work no matter if you're an internal center or if you're a large outsourcer. So we have it set up in a couple, main channels. In number one, we have our production channels, right? So basically every single client, or think of it for you guys that have internal sales, every different type of call type. So you might have a sales channel, you might have a service channel, you might have a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, however you would have that set up. But for us, every client has their own channel. The client services manager is on that channel. Obviously, I am on that channel. And then just the supervisors that deal with that and the quality assurance people. So we keep it real tight. Like with email, you can send it out to the world and you're scrolling through all the stuff, right? So for us, for that Slack channel, only the people who need to see it are in it, which really makes it kind of top of mind, front of mind, and they know that if something goes in there, that it's going to be interesting to them, right? We have our EQA channel, which is our Expivia Quality Assurance. So anytime that we have an issue or a rep needs pulled or we had a good call, obviously we can look at our quality assurance, programs for that. But this is a really quick way to kind of get some things out. Supervisors might say, hey, Janie's been working on some closing signals or working on her tone. Can you please monitor? And that's kind of how we use that channel to make sure that we're going back and forth from our quality assurance guys. Obviously, our client services team, they have their own Slack channels for every single client. So if a client, sends reports, things that we want to get out to the team, we have that for those guys. And then we have HR channels. So we have a staffing and an HR issue channel. So staffing, basically every single day, we're making sure that, if there's any call-offs, those types of things, that we add it to our workforce management. Workforce management then is going to kind of go back, make sure that everybody's understands, what's going on from a real quick standpoint. Obviously, again, we have all these reports, but we can send the reports through the Slack channel, or just give a quick heads up to, hey, make sure that everybody's wait 15 minutes before you're taking your lunch today. Those types of things that get out to the floor really, really fast. If we have any rep issues, anything that is a progressive discipline, we're going to use the HR issues channel to make sure that the HR staff knows what's going on, and maybe if a rep's getting sent over to HR, what happened. So we kind of keep that from a documentation standpoint. We have a Yay, which is I believe it's a Slack channel that comes with it, but it's basically any type of announcement. So everybody's birthday, anybody who has an anniversary, all that stuff goes in our Yay channel. Everybody loves the Yay channel on Friday, right? We've made a games channel, so we keep all of our games in one channel. So anytime that a supervisor wants to go play something, there's a repository for all that they can just go look. Anytime that a new game gets evolved, we have a thread that's set up there that they can add to their games, which is kind of fun. The other cool thing that we've done is we've just really started doing this for the last couple months. Is there's a bot that comes with Slack, and this bot can basically be a kind of a knowledge management base. So for a lot of our programs, we'll have very basic information that maybe a rep is going to need. That happens a lot. So they can actually ask a question in a specific channel, and the bot will give them the answer. So it comes kind of with its own chat bot, which is really, really, really cool. And if you take just a little bit of time to set it up based on what you need, you can have a repository of information that can be pulled, and that information can go out to your reps, as they need it when they're on the phone with an associate or with a customer. Sorry. So that's kind of cool. And then we have escalations, right? So sometimes if we are the call center, we're answering, and there is maybe a tier 3 or an issue that the client wants their internal center to handle, we will use the Slack channel to escalate that to either right to our client, which we'll talk about in a second, or to our client services manager, who will then pick up the phone or do the process maybe in Salesforce or whatever to get that to our client. The other thing that we've done is we've seen a lot of external clients that use Slack, and so with Slack we can actually integrate both of our business units, so to speak, or both of our accounts, so that the client can see our Slack channel. So we'll say external XYZ company. So anytime that the client wants to talk to us or wants to send what would be equivalent to an email or send that type of information, they can do it directly to Slack. We found that this is a really cool way. A lot of times customers would use Skype for Business so that we could IM, so that if we did have a specific question for the client on a program while something was going on, we would do that. But now we're seeing more and more clients that are getting away from Skype and getting into Slack. So we will actually just Slack our customer, ask them a couple specific questions, and then they can Slack us right back. So that's pretty cool. We've been sending actually reports that we normally would do with emails. We're just sending them in Slack and having the customer pick them up, read them right there, and they can comment. You can create threads, right, for any topic that is in there. So let's say, we have in our games channel, we have an outbound thread, an inbound thread, a customer service thread that we can have specific games for those things, and it doesn't kind of clog the whole channel up. They can just click on a thread, and then it opens it up, which is kind of a better way to do things when you're looking for a couple specific things. So. The last channel, I guess, here too is there's a general channel, which is basically open to everyone. So we use that for any kind of company-wide announcements, or if we're going to do any type of overall motivations, or let everybody know what's going on maybe a Friday night, or any of those types of things that you want to get out to the company as a whole. I will tell you, you have to change the culture of how you communicate when you get into Slack. Everybody's so used to email, and it's kind of just set it, forget it, check your email here and there, or maybe leave your email up. You got to get away, and you almost have to cut the cord from email, because we saw that. So that's what we did. We had both for a while. That first month we had email, we had Slack, and people were emailing still. So we actually just cut it. We just said no more emails. We're disabling everybody's accounts that need it for just internal uses, and this is what we're doing. So what I would do if I had to do it over again is I would do a better job communicating what we were doing. I would do a kind of a birthday or a tip-off day or the first day of Slack, and make it a big deal. We didn't really do that. We just said, hey, on Monday we're going to implement this. I think if you do that, it can be a little bit more fun. I'm not even getting into the really cool, fun things about Slack too, of how they set up emojis and how we have certain days that we try to talk as much as we can through emojis or little GIFs. So the fun aspect of the communication culture is way more fun than email. It allows you to really almost express yourself when you're communicating with employees and internally. All these guys like kind of have their own way of showing and talking. So it's kind of cool and it's kind of fun, and I think it's made us talk to each other more, and it's really helped the whole culture of the organization from our attitude and effort standpoint, to not only talk more but to have some fun with it too. So I hope that helps a little bit. I would definitely take a peek at the free version. You might not even need the paid version. It is so cool and it's so expansive in what they offer, even with that, like I said, with that paid version. So again, thank you very much. That's what I got for you guys for this week. I hope that answers some of the questions that I got on digging a little deeper into how we're using Slack and some of the channels and how we have things set up. Again, as a cheap plug that I do every week, we do have Advice from a Call Center Geek book. It is on Amazon. If anybody is interested in that, please pick that up. It's super cheap. It's under $10, and I think the ebook version is like $3. So just wanted to kind of get some of that stuff out there. Again, please like us on Facebook. Please go to our Twitter account and follow us. We're trying to post some really cool stuff. Again, that's Advice from a Call Center Geek. And finally, we do have the Call Center Geek community, which I think we're up to about 25 people. So if you can go to signup.callcentergeek.com. Just give me your name and email address, and we'll get you some really cool blog posts, some private webinars, some more private community stuff that we'd like to really get involved with some of you guys on. So again, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you next week on The Geek.
This has been Advice from a Call Center Geek. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to the show so you're the first to hear next week's episode. Jam-packed with actionable takeaways you can implement ASAP. Chime in with your thoughts on the episode on Twitter @from_geek and on Instagram @call_center_geek. Also, take a look at our contact center operations book by the same name, Advice from a Call Center Geek, on Amazon. This podcast is sponsored by ExpiviaUSA.com.